Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's make some cinnamon raisin bread. So to start this recipe off, we'll be needing some flour. I have some bread flour here, some milk, some warm milk, yeast, eggs, some salt, sugar, butter, and of course some raisin. Now we're going to go ahead and start off by proofing our yeast. So to the warm milk, I'm going to go ahead, add the sugar and the yeast mixture, give it a good mix and set it aside to proof. Now we're going to proof this for 10 minutes. If after 10 minutes your yeast does not look frothy and bubbly, the yeast is not good, you need to throw that out and start again. So we're going to cover and set aside to proof. Now this is what your yeast should be looking like after at least 10 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and whisk my egg, and I'm going to start by adding the ingredients into the mixer, starting off with the flour. And I mentioned if you don't have bread flour, you could use all purpose. And add a little bit of salt. Now I'm going to give it a good mix to allow the salt to evenly distribute it throughout the flour. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my yeast mixture, my eggs, and we're going to start mixing. We're going to start off to mix on low and gradually increase the speed, because if you start on high, it will make a mess. So you want to start on low and gradually increase the speed. Once the dough comes together in a blob, you're going to go ahead and add your butter and your raisin, and we're going to mix on medium to high speed for about 10 minutes until the dough is nice, soft, and stretchy. Now this is what your dough should be looking like at this point. Now we're going to remove and allow this to double in size. So we're just going to, put it together. We're going to allow this to double in size in that same bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and grease it with some oil and cover and allow it to double in size for about 40 minutes to an hour, depending on the temperature of your house. After 45 minutes to an hour, this is what the dough is looking like. It has doubled in size. Now I'm just going to go ahead and release the gas from the dough. We're just going to work it for about a minute or so, just to push it out. And we're going to go in with our rolling pin just to stretch the dough a bit before adding our next ingredient. Of course, you could totally do this by hand. You could just use your hand and push it around. You don't necessarily have to pull out the rolling pin. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cinnamon to this. So this is just pure cinnamon powder. I'm going to dust it on in a even layer. Then I'm going to roll it up. And yeah, set it aside to proof again for another 20 minutes while the oven is being preheated to 350 degrees. And of course, I will leave the full measurement for this recipe down below, so you could go ahead and check it out. Now I'm just gonna seal the edges properly and set this aside in my baking pan and allow this to proof. Now it's time to bake, and my bread has doubled in size. Now I'm going to brush on some heavy cream. Feel free to use an egg. Just break an egg and make an egg wash and use it, but I have some heavy cream on hand, or you could just use some milk, but I'll be using the heavy cream. Now I'm going to brush this on and bake this at 350 degrees for 35 minutes to 40 minutes. And after such time, this is what the bread is looking like, and at this point it is smelling amazing. I'm just going to go ahead and brush on some melted butter, because hey, you know that bread and butter, freshly baked bread and butter, is match made in heaven. So I'm just going to go ahead, brush this on, set this aside to cool down in the pan for about 5 to 10 minutes before removing. Then allow it to cool completely on a wire rack. We want to remove it from the pan because we don't want it to sweat and condense and make our bread soggy. Now the bread is fully cooled somewhat. I'm just going to go ahead and cut into it. And let me tell you guys, the fragrance from this was so good. I could eat the entire thing right here and done. And as I mentioned before, you wanted to roll it tightly because it wasn't tightly rolled. That's why that little gap is there. But hey, nonetheless, the bread was super soft, moist, and tasty. Now this one will go down well with anything. You could make it into French toast. You could just have it as is with some butter or some jam, whatever you like. It will work for you. Now guys, if you haven't yet liked this video, give the video a thumbs up, share it, leave me a comment down below if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.